Three terms get thrown around somewhat interchangeably in real estate, but without a proper understanding of what each of these means, certain laws and codes will not make as much sense as they should. These terms are real estate, real property, and personal property. For instance, real estate is both the land and the improvements. A house is real estate, but so is residential land without a structure. Real property is essentially the same thing as real estate. Personal property, on the other hand, is movable items. A box being carried into a new house is full of personal property, while the house itself is real property. Whether an item is fixed or movable determines whether it's classified as real or personal property. An object or feature built on or attached to the soil is part of the real property. Vehicles, tools, and furniture are personal property. But there are some oddities to this rule. A raised hot tub or an above-ground pool might qualify as personal property and be removed by the seller, while the deck that housed it remains. If the hot tub or pool were permanently fixed in concrete in the backyard, they would be considered real property. Certain appliances might also be considered personal property that the seller or tenant would take with them, like washers and dryers, refrigerators, and microwaves. On the other hand, things like toilets, counters, lighting fixtures in the ceiling, and window screens typically remain as part of the house. Carpets are part of the house, but loose rugs don't have to be included in a sale. A personal property inventory can be very helpful in real estate and lease agreements, so everyone's clear on what is and is not included in a sale or temporary occupancy. Now, if a tenant installs a special ceiling light cover or closet door to personalize their decor, those custom items could be removed as personal property, provided the original one is reinstalled, or an alternative one takes its place. Renters should be especially cautious about making changes to the rental. Some additions they can make may become part of the property if permanently affixed. Also, just because an item can be removed doesn't mean it has to be. In general, landscaping is considered to be part of the real property. A deck and a garden pathway of gravel and stonework are improvements to the real property, but a garden bench or bird feeder are movable personal property items. Qualifying landscaping features as real or personal property can be tricky, depending on the situation, and is ultimately up to the owner. Potted plants on the patio may be moved when the homeowner relocates, but if a large tree on the property that the owner planted as a sapling and is near and dear to their heart, they still have to leave it as part of the real property. Fixed and attached features are considered part of the real property. Anything in theory can be removed with a little ingenuity, but essential systems should not be. The owner must decide if it's worth the hassle and if it leaves the new resident without an essential component before doing so. Some items may be negotiated between the buyer and the seller. When an object's mobility is the deciding factor in whether it's considered real or personal property, one particular exception is always brought up to confuse the issue: mobile homes. Each state is different. In general, mobile homes, trailers, and the like are viewed as personal property unless the owner takes certain steps to make it real property. The mobile home's relationship with the surrounding land can help determine if it's fixed property or not. In various regions and cities across America, there's now an ongoing debate about tiny homes and their status. Even though they can be moved, some owners are placing them on property and leaving them there indefinitely as a permanent structure. Some people live in their RVs for more months out of the year than anywhere else. But RVs are considered recreational vehicles. They're not mobile homes. Licensees and consumers should check their local city ordinances for information about how these different structures are labeled. There are different tax and zoning stipulations that change what the owner is allowed or not allowed to do based on how it's categorized.